You know this part from Macklemore's Hins Hall.
For me, politicians who serve by any means, APAC, CUFI, and all the companies.
We're already familiar with the 3 million proud members of APAC. So let's discuss the 10 million members of CUFI, the Christians United for Israel. As the largest pro-Israel organization in the United States, with over 10 million members, CUFI is the foremost Christian organization educating and empowering millions of Americans to speak and act with one voice in defense of Israel and the Jewish people. CUFI's diversity across political, ethnic, generational, and denominational lines maximizes our impact in communities, in the media, on campus, and in our nation's capital. CUFI is committed to confronting indifference and combating anti-Semitism in all its forms, wherever it may be found. CUFI was created in February 2006 as a grassroots movement designed to unify Christians across all denominational and cultural boundaries in support of Israel. CUFI began with 400 pastors and ministry leaders. Our size, effectiveness, and diversity across generational, racial, cultural, and denominational lines have positioned us as the leading voice for pro-Israel Christians. CUFI on campus has revolutionized the efforts to stop anti-Israel movements on college campuses, and the result of our work with millennial Christian leaders through the Israel Collective Initiative is groundbreaking. But Murph, Zionism is Judaism. No, it's not. Christian Zionism is both a religious and political ideology which has no formal structure but generally demands total support from the modern political state of Israel in order to gather all Jews in Israel, which will trigger the rapture and the second coming of Christ. Christian Zionists are premillennial dispensationalists who believe that the return of Jews to their homeland heralds the beginning of the biblically prophesied end times. Christian Zionist groups often have infighting in regard to the particulars of their beliefs, even going as far as to denounce one another. Most Christian Zionists are evangelical and fundamentalist Christians. However, the ideology has adherents within all Christian denominations, including Mormonism. They exist globally. This is not solely an American phenomenon. The largest Zionist organization in America is a Christian organization, CUFI. The largest Zionist organization has more Christian members than there are Jewish Americans alive. As of 2021, there are roughly 7.5 million American Jews. CUFI has over 10 million Christian members. There are more than 30 million Christian Zionists in the United States alone. That's double the population of Jews worldwide. The rapture, belief that living and dead believers will ascend into heaven to meet Jesus Christ at the second coming, is a generally agreed upon aspect of the second coming. Dispensationalists deem this phase the time of Jacob's trouble, in which at least 1/3 of Jews convert to Christianity and are saved accordingly, while the majority are killed. Remember, among Christian Zionists, the belief is common that Jews will not be saved due simply to their status as God's chosen people within Old Testament prophecy. Conversion is considered necessary for Jews to be a part of Christ's reign on earth. After the rapture, there will be a 7-year period of global turmoil marked by natural disasters, wars, and oppressive regimes. Afterward, Jesus will return with his true believers to establish a 1,000-year reign, during which Jerusalem will be the world's capital. Palestinians and Jews are cannon fodder, collateral damage, merely pawns to move into position in order to summon Jesus, dead or alive. Palestinian Christians, despite including some of the oldest Christian communities in the world, do not count as the right kind of Christian, while Palestinian Muslims are subject to unimaginable dehumanization. Christian Zionist groups that fund Israeli settler communities have been criticized by the United Nations Security Council for providing support to settlement communities that are considered illegal under international law. Christian Zionists have actively lobbied for both the return of Jews to modern-day Israel and for an end to the existence of the territories administered by the Palestinian Authority. They justified the war through colonial imaginings of Terra New Zealand 3 ways: by denying the Palestinians exist as a legitimate national identity, but by denying the Palestinians to reason, prophetic inevitability. The war will happen because of the prophecy. Gaza is therefore interpreted as God's land, and the demise of Gazans, present and future, is not only anticipated and preempted, but will have already happened. Anti-Semitism is the lifeblood of the Christian Zionist, substituting care for Jews with nationalism, based in belief in the coming rapture. Christian Zionists wield anti-Semitism as a tool. Anti-Semitism is a powerful element for Christian Zionists. They use anti-Semitism in the diaspora to entice Jews to move under the guise of safety, propelling and furthering their agenda of gathering all Jews in the Holy Land. Within the context of Christian Zionism, American Jews are relatively irrelevant, byproducts of a history whose end is the movement's ultimate goal. Christian Zionists are happy to promote anti-Semitic propaganda, misinformation, and legislation in order to achieve this goal. CUFI founder John Hagee described Hitler as a hunter sent by God to get Jewish people to come back to the land of Israel. Christian Zionism inherently sees Jews as the people who fail to recognize and accept the true Messiah and have thus deprived themselves of both eternal life and sound moral guidance, or guidelines. According to Trump, Democrats don't want to fund Israel. They want to take away foreign aid to Israel. They want to do a lot of bad things to Israel. In my opinion, you vote for a Democrat, you're being very disloyal to the Jewish people and very disloyal to Israel. When called out as about 7 in 10 American Jews identify with or lean towards the Democratic Party, Donald Trump continued, "Any Jewish people that vote for a Democrat shows either a total lack of knowledge or great disloyalty," promoting the dual loyalty trope. There is internal division regarding converting Jews, with some believing it is essential to convert as many Jews as possible. However, some Christian Zionists consider themselves proto-Jews on earth and engage in such practices as observances of the Saturday Sabbath. Christian Zionists in the USA wield massive political power, particularly in the realm of lobbying. As many, if not most, Christian Zionists are extremely conservative. They are often at odds, if not going directly against the majority will of American Jews. People have to understand that the backbone of Israel's support in the United States is the evangelical Christian, said former Israeli ambassador to the United States, pointing to the fact that evangelicals comprise about a quarter of Americans, while Jews make up less than 2% of the population. He also noted that it's very rare for evangelicals to criticize Israel, while American Jews are disproportionately among Israel's critics. Their influence is rooted in their ability to mobilize huge, committed constituencies, often through highly organized advocacy groups. Christian Zionists have influenced decisions related to military aid, foreign aid packages, and support for Israeli government policies. Christian Zionist groups directly fund settler violence. They oppose the Middle East peace process because they oppose a physical division of Jerusalem or of Israel. White evangelicals are the group most likely to say God gave the land that is now Israel to the Jewish people. Fully 70% of white evangelicals take that position, more than twice the share of U.S. Jews who answered a similar but not identical question. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu acknowledges their power. "I don't believe the Jewish state and modern Zionism would be possible without Christian Zionism." And you might think it's no big deal, but they've gotten a lot done.